over for the Democrats, right? Government opens back up. Mrs. Noam, young lady named Noam, in Trump's administration, right? She gives out bonuses to the traffic control people who stayed and worked and were not getting paid. They stayed when they weren't getting paid, and they got bonuses. God bless them. But we don't hear enough about that. We don't hear enough about those bonuses that they got from the Trump administration for staying, rewarded, right? Golden age of America. We said it was absolutely over for the Democrats, right? But it got worse. So closing out 2025, they find out, right, that there is massive fraud in Minnesota. So yes, we found massive fraud in Minnesota. And the crazy thing is, this fraud has been going on for years. And it took some young man to walk around with his camera phone. And he found out more about this than the mainstream media, right? I mean, could it be the mainstream media had a special interest to where they didn't want people to know what was going on? Are they somehow affiliated with the people, that political party that was committing such massive amount of fraud in Minnesota? It was estimated at $9 billion when the news first broke. Now it's estimated to be 19 million and counting, right? So the news outlets that did want to cover it got millions of views. Millions. The people who didn't cover it, they're being looked at as like, wow, this is a major news network. You guys weren't able to, or you guys didn't want to? Hey, it's like this. Whoever covers it, something as important as that, such massive amount of fraud, well, they were able to get the word out and get their viewership numbers up because they were reporting something that the American people were really concerned about. They weren't concerned about transgenders and these queers and all the other nonsense that the Democrats were pushing. They wanted to know, man, they're saying 19 billion American taxpayer dollars are being have already been funneled and stolen from the American people. 19 billion, billions with a B. It's very interesting because they criticize Israel. They say, hey, why is America sending money to Israel? They shouldn't send any money to foreign nations. They're sending millions to Israel. Israel has to spend millions of dollars in the U.S., all right? It's almost like a gift card. You understand? You get a gift card from Walmart, and you have to spend that money in Walmart. So who gets the money? Walmart. I'm not sure if that's exactly how it is, but man, it does seem very, very similar, right? You have to spend the money in the U.S., the millions that people were complaining about given to Israel. Now, here is another country where a mass migration of immigrants came and were able to steal 19 billion. They thought it was 9, and it went up to 19 billion dollars. Let's put it in perspective. You're 30 years old now. You've been working since you're 16. All right? You're 50 years old. You're 40 years old. Even those just out of college, right? They had to work their way through college, 25 years old. You're paying your taxpayer dollars. Your parents, they've paid for their working lives. Even those first generation who came here and did it the right way and became citizens, they've been paying their taxes. For those who've been here longer, your grandparents have been paying their taxes their whole working adult life, right? That's 3 generations, right? Paying taxes for 3 generations. How is it that somebody can come here from a foreign country And within a year's time, they are able to become a millionaire, billionaires off those taxpayer dollars. After hearing this, would somebody still put Democrats on their ballot as a registered voter? Would somebody in their right mind, as a politician, still put Democrat as an elected official? It seems very, very contrary to the position, because you're supposed to be working for the American people, right? But instead, these Democrats knew for years that money was being stolen from the taxpayers of all, because Minnesota doesn't have $19 billion. That's local funds, state funds, federal funds. That's everybody money in the U.S. gone and found, and that money ended up in the hands of terrorist organizations. How crazy is that? You're complaining about Israel's millions when you're Democrats, right? Your Free Palestine Democrats, the ones that are hating on Israel, are letting people funnel $19 billion of your taxpayer money out of the country into their private and terrorist organizations. It's preposterous. It's absolutely crazy. So here you have, right? Another Democrat. I spoke about him earlier, Mamdani, all right? They're speculating that he has terroristic ties, right? All right. Whether or not this is true, which it could be because they've seen him taking pictures with these people, right? They say they have someone who was a terrorist in his organization, and he's spoken he hasn't spoken, has positive words for the president of Israel. He hasn't had too many positive words for the people. Of course, he backtracked them because they're the ones who, for the Jewish people, because their economy, their businesses are one of the major businesses in New York, and that's where he's going to be getting those taxpayer dollars from. He retracted his statement, right? He cleaned it up, but he said that he wanted to take the money from the white people, right? I mean, I've seen the guy. Wow, right? This is what he said. So now, does it make sense that he would put these horrendous policies in place only so that he is able to ruin New York? Is he doing it knowing that this will ruin New York? Is that why he's doing this? I saw this on a video. Now, this was not my perspective. This is somebody that I saw and I put in this video. I don't know his name at the time. Give me one. So yeah, his name was Brandon Lehman, right? Check out YouTube channel, Brandon, Lehman. This was his synopsis, and I thought it was great because he really made a lot of sense when he said, man, listen, this guy might be doing all of this on purpose to absolutely ruin the United States, because it's not something that's substantial. The companies are already leaving New York. The ones that are going to pay, the ones that they're going to get listen, the tax money that New York gets, half of it, it's about 40% or more, is paid by the wealthy. If those wealthy companies leave, that's 40% of your tax money. That's half the money. That's half the budget. If they leave, you can't sustain it. You can't. Not only can you not fulfill those promises, but you're going to be in a deficit for fulfilling the regular things that you're supposed to do for New York anyway. But this is the Democrat way. This is what they do. Kathy Hochul had to backtrack because she wanted to not do the tax on tips. It told the rest of the New Yorkers was like, hey, how is it possible that you're not going to do tax on tips when the rest of the country is getting it? You know, a great idea from President Trump. Of course, they give the man his credit. He wants to put money back in taxpayer dollars, whereas Democrats want to take money out of taxpayer dollars, and send it and have it stolen and have it sent to Chile for transgender comic books, right? Fighting for people and creating these false causes that Doge found out for 1% of the people, the transgender and queers, they're not the majority. A regular, normal, God-fearing human beings and Christians in this country are the majority. They are the majority, not a tranny running around looking crazy, all right? But if you send $1 million, $4 million, right, to fund transgender surgeries for less than 1%, where does the rest of the money go? Does it go into somebody's pocket? Was that the plan all along? Creating these fake causes for these weird things that nobody wants. So when they create a fund for it, they get taxpayer dollars for it. And where does the money go? Well, Doge found out, didn't it? Yeah. So just like they have it there where it's no tax on tips, Trump wanted to put money back in American citizens' pockets, right? New Yorkers, people that work in the restaurant industry in New York, which of course is a major city, a lot of money, a lot of restaurants, a lot of waitresses, a lot of tips. No taxes on the tips would have been great for them. They wanted to cut that. They wanted to say, no. Need those tax revenues. We got a lot of illegals to fund, right? These hotels that we're putting the illegals in for free is not going to pay for themselves. We need you, the working waitresses out there, to pay your taxes on the tips so we can fund things like having illegals lay up in the best hotels for the free on the taxpayer dollar. That's what they wanted to do. Yeah, it's crazy, man. She wanted to backtrack on that, on no tax on tips. But to show you the power of the American people, they said, no, that's not right. That's not right. It's just like why gas is high in California and other Democrat states and not high in the red states. Because why? The Democrats want that stuff high so they can get your taxpayer dollars to fund their nonsense. And what is the nonsense we're finding out? They're actively stealing the money. $19 billion in Minnesota. That's absolutely crazy. And then you have somebody here. And why are all these people tied to the same? What's going on? Why is it always something terrorist tied to these people, right? How do these people say their religion is supposed to be upstanding, but you're always siding with the trannies and the Democrats and the weirdos? Well, this could be a reason. In their religion, it says in Islam, I'll have the picture up. It says that they are allowed to lie to advance their religion and advance their cause, right? So it's good to know what you're dealing with. And you can decide, you know what? I don't want that for New York. Oh, hey, you know what? That might be something that's be cool for New York. Hey, this guy said he's part of a religion that says, hey, it's okay to lie, right? That's what it is. To advance their agenda, it's okay to lie. And why is this important? We saw that he didn't put his hand on the Bible to get sworn in. He had his hand on the Quran. On the Quran. Right? How crazy is that? We saw him have a meeting with President Trump, right? He said a lot of different things before he went to the meeting. He said a lot of different things when he came out of the meeting. But during the meeting, a lot of smiles, right? President Trump may think it's going some way. this guy may have something else in mind, right? It's just very important to know who you're dealing with. They have elected someone that has no problem lying to advance his cause, right? So you can say, hey, that's politics. I don't know. If that's the case, should that have been your vote? Is that the person you should have voted for? I mean, listen, if you find this out, it just starts adding things up like, well, it's kind of weird that you want to provide all these free things that's going to destroy New York, right? So this is the political landscape you have. You have people who you have people who say, hey, lying is wrong, even though they do it sometimes, they know it's wrong. And there are some people that say, hey, they have no problem lying to advance their cause, right?